In this record, without me really knowing it, it was rising to the surface, personal experiences. I just found a comfort zone in expressing that in a hopefully a bit of a mysterious way, and that it isn't right on the nose. But I think that I have found a way to talk about these things that has just made me feel at peace with it. And part of that too was, the way this record started with Eric Clapton and I telling one another stories. A lot of that seeped under the door and found its way into these songs. This project started years ago with Eric Clapton and I talking about, we should do something together sometime. We spent a couple of weeks just messing around with some musical ideas, and then Eric had to go off and do a tour, and I started making another record, and it just fell by the wayside a little bit. And then years later, I tripped over this stuff again by accident, and I started listening to it, and I thought, wow, we did a lot more than what I had thought about. And so I called Eric and I said, that music we started working on, there's something interesting going on there. So we met up and I played it for him again, and he said, let's pursue this. We went into the studio and we recorded the basis of all of these songs, and Eric was just so great. He was so inspirational and supportive in this. He said, I want to do anything on it, that you want me to do, but I realize in this is because of the songwriting and everything. This is really your project, and I'm just thrilled that we're just doing this together. There was some other guitar players that I really admire, and I was fascinated by Tom Morello's playing and also Robert Randolph, because they are both guitar players, and I know a little bit about playing guitar, but both of these guys do something that I don't understand at all. They're like, they play a different instrument completely. And it was a continuation of something that Eric and I had started, where it was like talking guitars, back and forth, guitars speaking to one another. This track has a certain, raw ruckus to it and dynamic thing, and it smells of rock and roll. Martin Scorsese and I were housemates for a couple of years, and it was in a time period where it just seemed like there was no rules. We had been bad boys, and were doing it very well, up to a point that it became dangerous, and survival was at stake here. It got to a place where that's it. You can't do that anymore. And my way of saying this to the outside world and talking about Marty was, he don't live here no more. And it was really talking about inside this bubble of insanity and decadence.
The earth keeps on shaking, but I'm standing still.
This is where I get off. I'm, in my own kind of way, revisiting this period of time when working with the band was coming to a conclusion. We were no longer capable of helping one another do our best work. And we tried everything that we knew to figure this out, and couldn't. And so that you just get stuck, and then you feel stuck, and it goes on for as long as you can take it. and then you think, listen, I'm not going to survive this myself, and you have to know when to step aside. It's the first time I've been able to really express that in a musical way. I've never called one of my records by one of the song titles on the record. And so I thought, well, maybe it's time to do that. So I'm going down the list looking at the names of these songs, and I thought, how to become clairvoyant. That's it. That's, that's all we need to know.
That's what I wanna know. So just show me where to sign and point me where to go. Now that would be a